Go live to Caracas, Venezuela, where the president-elect Nicolas Maduro is offering statements. Let's listen.
The people of Venezuela is very noble. You want the guarimba to come back to this town and this city, and everyone claimed no. With very hardship. Comrade Ceballos, all the high commands of the political that are present here. But I said, after having 7 years of peace, going over with the constituent, we won over the guarimbas, 120 days of violence, and we overcame it with the popular fight with the constituent. I saw unity in the people, and I told the comrades, the people do not believe that they have a violent plan. The people do not believe that their plan is a revolution color again, a conspiration, a conspiracy, violence that is going to go and kill people, to persecute people, to light their houses on fire, light people on fire, to hit them. The people have the tendency to erase their memories, the bad memories, and they are not going to be remembering. They come to this moment because this is a bad moment, I know, but I'm obliged. I'm obliged as a leader, as a head of state, to talk to the people with the truth, because I know the plan before, during, and after July 28th. They made everything possible for a violent scenario of sabotage, of advanced sabotage, with the public services, with the lightning, for the people, everything before the July 28th. So the elections would be suspended. And in the elections, they attacked in two points the electric system at noon, at 8 at night. They wanted to turn off the country, and this group, I am obliged to tell you the truth. I'm obliged to it. And we are all obliged to listen to the truth, to be filled with patience, with tranquility and strength, because we know this movie and we know how to confront the situation and how to overcome and conquest over the violence. We have been witness to a number of events. I could present to you at this moment 100 videos of the attacks, the violent attacks that could be called criminal, terrorist even, of a couple of people. We have already captured an important number of these. In every event, we have captured these because we have the videos. We have identified and captured, while committing the acts, a couple of scenes of these people. 80% of the captured have precedents, penal precedents, criminal precedents. A part of them have come very recently in flights that have provided by the U.S. to Venezuela. And most of the captured have two characteristics. They're abusing drugs, and they have weapons. Drugs and weapons, and insanity. They confess that they have been paid per day $150, and this is in the development of the investigation, because most of them are already confessing who are the authors, the material authors. In this side and this side, and already we have instructions from the General Attorney to go to capture the intellectual authors of these groups, many criminal groups in good amount, with drug abuses, with personality alterations, and orders, specific orders of where to attack, what to attack. Who made this plan? The far right, the extreme far right. that stated that this was fraud 15 days before the election and said that they wouldn't sign the agreement to recognize the results. They said that they would only recognize the acts, that alleged acts that they say they have, and these acts that they say they would show this substitutes the electoral authority and that they wouldn't recognize the electoral authority. This is what they said 15 days ago. And they pretend to take this point to start the initiation of new guarimbas, and you know we won't allow this. Today, they tried to lit fire different points of the country. I was calculating because I know about this. And they have impacted about 10% of what they did in 2013 with Capriles, in 2014 with Machado, with Leopoldo López, with Ledesma, and 2017. A 10% they must have conquered with this. And now they did do things that you would draw your own conclusions. I will show some things, and you can draw your own conclusions. If these are civic acts, specific acts, or how can they be called? They're assassins. They're attacking, destroying. Since late last night, they were attacking a couple of centers, electoral centers. Today in the morning, high hours of the morning, they assaulted different places of the country. We do not have the videos. They assaulted places where there were machines, electoral machines and material machines. They tried to attack the electoral authority headquarters. In one of them, a group entered, and we have all the security forces looking for them for their capture and trial. We have to respect the law and the right to peace of Venezuela. This is the result of a plan that they have been denouncing. This didn't participate in the election to strengthen democracy. They participated to organize these acts. They participated to use the electoral campaign and do this, what they call these commands, these little commands, and do criminal groups that are paid to attack different objectives and generate a rise in violence that is going to take them to their golden dream, which is to take the power in Venezuela. On the one hand, they show one face, a smile. This is marketing. On the one hand, they show an old man that can barely talk, but on the down low, there's this other plan, and this is the gringos. This is where they are. They have always been there before, during, and after the coup d'etat in 2002. Before, during, and after Guaidó, this is made in the U.S. This is made in the United States. These are plans that they have been orchestrating. I know this. I have denounced this. I know they have used the electoral process to destabilize Venezuela and harm you, Mr., Mrs., my comrades, that you have your activity, your social activity, your economic activity, your educational activity. They are trying to harm you. They live from permanent harm, because I said this to Celso Amorim when I met him. We're in the fundamentals. We have different oppositors that want a democratic rivalry, but this group in particular, this is an extreme right fascist right. This is not a democratic right. This is a counter-revolution, a violent counter-revolution, fascist and criminal. And I will not stop to explain this to my people in the world. And let's see the little comment groups that they have created. Let's see the attack to the electoral authority headquarters, how they burn, they kick, they hit, they destroy. I'm apologizing for these hard images. I'm sorry, but I need you to see this. Let's see. You do not have the ones from the CNE? From Coro? No, I need the ones from the CNE. There's a technical issue in the transmission. There's a technical issue in the transmission. They tell me they have the one other of the objectives from the PSUV. How can I call that democracy? Constitution. It's terrorism. We have told the militants from the Party of Socialists of Venezuela, we cannot fall into provocations because their objective is that they will assault the headquarters and we would fall into provocations and a confrontation would occur and a bloodbath. Now, am I clear? I have tried to avoid a bloodbath in Venezuela and I will continue to avoid that. And the Bolivarian Revolution is the only guarantee of peace and tranquility in this country. Is this clear now? In the world, what do we have now? We have the attack in the house in the PCSUB? In Guacara, let's see. This is what belongs to us. This is from the people. They're drugged. They're using drugs. This is the CNE in Coro. We're going to burn it down. These were attacks at the headquarters of the PSUV. Calm and sanity and denouncement and conscience, because we need to take out the good from the bad, from the violence and the destruction of these people. We need to draw conclusions and conscience. We have the images from the assault and the destruction and assault and destruction of material from the headquarters of the CNE in Coro. Let's see. This is Coro. This is the town. We are taking what we need. We're taking what it's ours. This is from the people. They're drugged. This is the CNE in Coro. We are going to burn it down. We're going to burn it down. And for her to leave. And just like this one, we have an important amount of audio and video of content. They burned down the CNE headquarters in Coro. They burned the electoral material. They burned the vehicles. And this guy, he was already captured. He was under drug abuse. He was armed with weapons, as most of them were. And he said that he was going to kill the CNE. He was sent to do this, and he was paid for this, and he paid the others for them to get inside. Some of them had his head covers, but they fell out. They were all identified. They will all be captured in this night, during these following hours. And do not say they're political persecutors, and not for the U.S. and the American states coming and saying that liberty to these political prisoners, because we know who the material authors are. They have also attacked in Caracas, in Los Teque, that really had a lot of hard work recovering the public transport and buses. One of the compromises that I assumed, how hard it was to put these stations nice in Caracas, and they came with all their hate and their desire of violence, irrational violence. Let's see it in the at full screen. Let's see the images. This is near the Flores station. They came in to destroy what we have just reinaugurated. All that system. We have just put in 200 new units in Caracas. They attacked them. They cracked their windows because they hate the public transport. They destroyed the vitrals, they took them out. And I'm going to go there now because it hurts me, the public transport of the people. They took out the windows. How is that called? Democracy, opposition? How is that called? What do you say? How can we call this? Who are they hurting? Who are they hurting? This is the original plan. The original plan was to utilize the electoral process to come back with force, with their violence and their objective, that is an increase and a taking out, violent taking out of the Bolivarian Revolution and the installation of a fascist government in Venezuela. And we also have images of what state? Because there's an image that I didn't want to believe it, that came from the town of Guanare. Dear people from Guanare, the Indio Coromoto is the Indian, the head Indian that found Virgin Mary. The Virgin of Venezuela is called Virgin of Coromoto, and the Coromoto Indian, they made him a statue in homage to this Indian Coromoto, and these people went. Do not show the images right now. Wait until I finish presenting this. So this group came. We captured several of them, and we're looking for the others with the videos. We have all the plaques from the vehicles. We have the faces of all those involved. And the General Attorney Office is going to capture all these people. They went to attack the Indian Coromoto. What is this called? This is racism. This is racism. Racism. That's the base of fascism. They have put in the mind of the people the fascism and the violence and the vengeance. And they hate national values. Let's see, so we can see how they destroy and humiliate the Indian Coromoto through the streets. You can see that they are taking the Indian Coromoto, a vital symbol of the nation, the Indian Coromoto, Virgin of Coromoto. What do the priests say? What do the bishops say? What does the Catholic Church say? What Guanare said? What the people say? I ordered that we make a larger statue, and I will go to Guanare so that the whole people can put again with honor the statue and long live the great Cacique Coromoto. We will defend you. Look at the hate that they have. Look at the hate. They're filled with rage and anger. Look how they take the Indian Coromoto. They're just dragging him through the streets. How can you call them opposition? How do you call this? This is the order that they gave yesterday. Call fraud, and they ordered general violence. No one can be manipulated. And anyone who is involved in this violent Guarimba acts, we will see the face of the law. All the personnel that have been captured, people using drugs with weapons, violent and criminals, they will be tried according to Venezuelan laws, and the whole amount of the law will be put and used on them. They are symbols, the CNE, the electoral authorities, the public transport. What does public transport? That means Maduro, the transport. And also, in several places of the country, they try to bring down different statues that paid homage to the commander Hugo Chavez Frias. They tried to, and they managed to attack the iconic. They also were captured. They received orders of going and destroying the statue of Chavez in the square of La Guaira, the one from General Carneiro. What does the people of La Guaira think about this? What images do we have? The one from La Guaira? There they are. A typical image of the revolution of colors that are imposed by the gringos around the world. This is a typical image, taking down the symbols. If they came to power, we said it, they will be worse than Ramon Jaluz. He came in taking down everything that was a symbol of the National Assembly. And here, this is the image. People, you can recognize them. They are all being followed because we have digital recognizing teams that we have. They can define who is who and identify the people in the system. Some of them have already been captured. I have issued the order for all authorities in La Guaira, and we will also go there, and the thousands, so that we pay homage to Commander Chavez in the face of the fascists and criminals. This inexplicable version. In the same way, in Mariara, the images that we are receiving from Carabobo, from the same groups that are violent, and they went to attack our Commander Chavez, to the commander and president, the best president that Venezuela has had in the last 150 years at least. You can see the fire, right? You can see the fire at the back. What does these people have in their minds? What do they have in their hearts? Are these people prepared to govern Venezuela? Are these people prepared to have the power in Venezuela? If they have the political power in Venezuela, what are they going to be able to do? What are they going to be willing to do with the people? Because they have been marking the houses of different people, leaders of communities. They're marking their houses and saying, we will come back to kill you. The people, the world, the planet, social movements, they have to open their eyes. The far right in the world, they are staging a coup d'etat in Venezuela. They want to reedit the coup d'etat in April. They are trying to reinstate the Guarimbas, but as the people say, every 11 has their 13th, but now there will be no April 11th. In the Oliares Square, a group as well. They've been captured. 10 of them have been captured. They were under the influence of drugs. Some of them were armed with, and someone was walking and they screamed, "Is that a Chavez?" And they persecuted them and hit them. Some other people saved him. He's being attended by doctors right now. I will go to meet him later on. I was reminded of how people were burnt alive in 2017, and I told you, I have my conscience clear because I told you in Guanare, in Cumaná, in Caracas, in Maracaibo, in Cabildo, I told you, compatriots, do you want the Guarimba and violence to come back? Did I tell you or not? And you said no. Well, there you go. Well, they want it, and they have plans for that. So let's see how they beat down this citizen that was walking around.
We are seeing images of the current scenario in Venezuela. This is images of the several sectors, minimum a few people of the ultra-right wing that are taken to the streets to commit vandalism in several parts of the country. This is the scenario that is taking place right after the results were released. The preliminary results of the National Electoral Council, which were released early in the morning of this Monday, July 29th. This is all taking place while the president is addressing to the nation regarding the situation that is taking place due.
This man is saved. These people were arrested. And now the police is searching for the other people that are already identified. Also, a group of delinquents, all were arrested with history, with back. All were incorporated to the comanditos. All form part of the comanditos. We are in front of a crime organization. Drug dealers put a lot of money with drugs to activate these criminals. And I call the people to be on alert, thousands of eyes, thousands of ears, and to find the mechanisms so that the announcements come to us so that we can act right away in front of these comanditos, violent comanditos. Roberto Lugo neighborhood here, there was a boy, a man leaving with his car, and he said he's a national police and he's going with his family. They stopped him and they burned their car. How much sacrifice a man that is a worker to have a car. What hatred for the humble people, for the worker, for the police officer. Let's see these images. This is a criminal thing. This man, I just asked him to know him and to protect him and to replace his car. Boy, you have this new car. I guarantee your car. Look. Burn it, burn it. Okay, wait. Burn it. Burn it down. I have images in my phone. They tell me the quadrants will be activated. Thank you very much. They sent me a crime situation. The responsibles are identified. They will be captured. They tell me that this group is involved to be investigated, a group called Misconvive, a group of criminals formed by popular will under Lopez is behind this. Leopoldo Lopez is behind this. The group is called Misconvives. Also, they sent me from Carabobo the attack to the headquarters of the police in Huacara. Also, a criminal group masked. They will have to identify this group. They have their faces destroying the police cars, which these cars is to provide security to the people in these communities. I'm sending this. Let's show it. Let's show everything we can, because I have an announcement to make now. Precisely. Okay, I have here what I am waiting for. An image is coming from the club center for you, for your families. In Macarao, they burnt it. It's not new. They've done it before. In the most difficult moments of stockouts and war, economy war, they went to burn the clubs so that clubs, to avoid clubs to supply food for the families. In defense of the right to the club. This is the people of the base, people of the militia. I'm just receiving another video, but we cannot pass all the videos to attack to the recently opened in the Guaira. They try to dancing centers, culture centers, 5 stories, and the boys can go there to spend their nights, their afternoons to train themselves. I'm receiving on real time. At the same time, I'm getting an image of the burning of the house of Pesube in Caraboso. Here you have it. Let's play it again. A group of criminals. We're going after you. You have to be sure for that. When I say something, I do it. We do it. At the same time, they have done the same to burn mayorships, to attack headquarters of the public headquarters. It is very typical of the Revolution of Colors that the gringos design. It's a script that they pretend to bring to Venezuela. Blocking streets, highways, burnings. They put tires and they burn them. And most of these people are drugged and armed. Very dangerous people. the comanditos. I was there recently and I approved the plan, and it's recovering. The hospital is recovering. That was to be delivered these days, and many other works. The mayor of that place is a woman, a worker woman, and it's a public building that provides service to the people of Kivu. Please, attention to the people of Kivu. Please go out and defend your right to peace. Let's see the fascists in their criminal actions. The mayor, the city council is open. Burn it. Okay, I told you that we're going to burn the council, the city council. The city council is open. Burn these people. They're trying to destabilize Venezuela. This deserves a double action, a redoubled action. Venezuela woke up in peace. We had peace before, during, all the electoral process. Last night, it started what I denounced in the CNE, the show. In several places, there were about 15 cameras of international media broadcasting live from Liceo Andrés Bello, because they thought to assault and see it on live and see it how they assaulted it. We could foil that, but it was broadcast through channels like Bloomberg, who is not used. It's an economic channel. Mr. Bloomer, a multimillionaire Democrat in the United States from the Democrat Party, he wanted to be kind of presidential candidate, but Biden beat him. And they never broadcast anything live. CNN was there, Bloomberg was there, because they had the show already to send the images internationally, the images, a spiral of violence. We have seen that film. I denounce it to the world, to the whole people of Venezuela. And I called to the most powerful reaction of rejection to these criminal actions, to these criminal events made by the criminals of comanditos. That we will have to, there will be justice here. There will be actions here. There have been aggression to officers of the armed forces, national armed forces, Bolivarian armed forces, to officers and professional staff from the police, Bolivarian police, wounded with bullets. A woman from the national police was surrounded, was wounded, and was taken by the, recovered by the, and he's operated on to extract the bullet that a group of criminals, the commander of the 131st Falcon was also wounded, a bullet with blade weapons. The Mayor Salas Lee, second commander of the South in Aragua, also wounded, shot wounded. First Sergeant Torrente Blanca Wilfredo, also shot by firearm. Jose Luis Contreras from the also wounded by our arm, and so on. I would like that Diosdado Cabello, we were talking with a group of, to finish this for all, once and for all. I said more or less 10% of what they did in the past. They have decreased in their capacity of actions, but they're doing damage. I tell the people of Venezuela, you have to have steel nerves. You have to be calm, and you have to mobilize it. You have to mobilize the mobilization of a civilian police, military, unity on the streets, peace, tranquility, and work. 47,000 communities, peace, work, peace, tranquility. And all those teams on the streets, communities, UH, the social forces of the club, the militia, national militia, all popular force to defend peace, and all our people, I call them to declare in a permanent action, in warning, in alert to end this insurrectional attempt of coup. I would like this dialogue also talk about it and make some. Thank you very much, Mr. President. Yes, since last night, we're following up on your instructions to everything that happened with the elections and the voting, the counting of the votes on the part of the electoral body, the only one that is authorized to do it. And today, the country woke up peacefully, and all of a sudden, the order came to attack certain sites in Venezuela. People extremely rare, people who are not from the zone, people who started violence acts. And we today said, for Venezuela and to the world, that this was the true plan of the opposition. This was the true plan that the opposition had. And really, in the electoral issue, is not the strong point for them. They wanted violence from the first time. That's why we see these hatred expressions, these fascist expressions that go to attack human beings only because they're walking on the street. People with high under the consumption, under the effects of drugs, and also with orders, strict orders that they've been given. I insist several times, Mr. President, when they said we're not going to recognize the results of the CNE because we will have our own records. No, this election was made by the CNE. It's done by the CNE, and CNE is the one that issues the result. SUMA can give you thousands of records and thousands of ballots and make a book if you want. And of course, they have to follow the plan because the world today is watching, because we still have today observers, international observers that were today in the proclamation that are sending the information of what's happening, of what they're watching to the world and to their countries. It's a sector of the opposition in Venezuela that does not recognize the results, that they does not recognize the electoral process as a political way and go to the violence. And in this, they cannot stop. They won't stop. So as you said, these are the authors, the material authors are there working on the streets, and they see it openly and they are recorded. Venezuela knows, that the security knows, that the intellectual authors, who are the intellectual authors who are behind this violence, the ones that are paying to generate this violence, because the first thing that they say, I was paid by somebody. That's clearly identified. I was paid by such and such person. So there's no political reason. It's only a reason to generate violence in our country. Every time this happens, we do what we know what to do. We go to the streets with the people. And from this moment on, a group of Venezuelans of the neighborhoods, despite the fact that their zone were strategically harassed so that they can't move, they came here, and they're here in front of the palace, defending the palace of Miraflores, defending the revolution. Tomorrow we will have mobilization in Caracas for the protection of the palace of Miraflores, with a great march of motorcycle riders that we're going to leave to see how the things are, to see how many of them that are being paid or paying these groups of violent people, these groups that I don't doubt to call them terrorists. What is the problem with that? What is their intention against the symbols? Why so much hatred against Chavez? They couldn't win over him during his life, and they think that by knocking over the statue they will win. These people are the intellectual authors of against the law, and the law has to come 2 o'clock tomorrow. 2 o'clock. The people, many people are connected. This film, we have seen this film before. Maximum mobilization, popular mobilization to defend peace. I told you, the time has come to defend peace on the street, street by street. And the absolute support by the military force, by the Bolivarian armed forces activated, and the police forces of the country. This country, you're not going to damage this country anymore. We are in the second semester, a decisive semester for all who invested in the merchants, in the economic activity. We will not allow that they're going to damage again the economy of the country, that they make social damages and that they make physical damage. We have there the mayor of the municipality of Obispo in Marina. He went with his son in his car. They tried to kill him. This reminds me the images of the coup in Bolivia when they got a mayor and they poured paint over her. And afterwards, when the coup was failed, they were crying. Let's see that.
We are seeing images of the people, of members of several sectors of the ultra-right wing that are taking to the streets to commit vandalisms, to attack vehicles, and also to attack representatives of the National Electoral Council and key spots of this electoral process in the country. We were also seeing...
They are identified, the authors of this are identified. Justice have to act. The same thing, we have images of the police that is providing service. This is the police kit. They assaulted it and they burned it. And what is this doing? They're 24 hours trying to protect the community, trying to assist the community. Let's watch.
More images of the recent events that have been taking place in the country ever since the National Electoral Council released the preliminary results that granted the victory for President-elect Nicolas Maduro, who received over 51% of the votes with the 80% of the ballots counted. Sectors of the ultra-right wing have been taken to the streets to commit violence, following orders not just by the leaders of the far-right opposition in the country, but also from foreign powers, which is a clear intervention in the internal affairs of the country. This is a denunciation that the President-elect Nicolas Maduro has been making from the Miraflores Palace at this hour from Venezuela, Caracas capital.
Publishing these images because they are funding this. They want to put their hands on our homeland, but we are millions and only one voice, and we're going to defend Venezuela from the right to peace to tranquility, and we're going to beat them up again. We're going to beat again, and our triumph that we talked about it is the triumph of peace, of stability, of dialogue, of understanding. We are only one face, and our face we put it on the street together with the people. We have there the burning in Caderubana, state of Falcón, of a city council that serves the people. Look at what they are shouting, this drug criminals shouting. We burn it, we burn it. We burnt it already. We burnt it already. It's not that we're going to burn it. We've already burnt it. And I say, are these people the ones that are going to govern Venezuela? They want to take the political power. They want to sit on this chair to generate a civil war, a bloodshed, to generate a witch hunt to any citizen walking there, and then to ignore mayorship, mayors, to ignore institutions. There's a constitution here. You have tried several times to break it, to violate it, to impose violence, and several times we have beat you. Who is behind this? Capriles, please respond. Who is behind this? Ramon Alú, please respond. Who is behind this? Who? The evil, the demon that would like to dress up as a saint. The demon that wants to put on a veil of saint. Who? Who's behind this? The monks are throwing a party with the destruction, with violence, with the guarimba, with the burning, and the world is astonished how they became the far right. I already told my friend, the Minister of Foreign Affairs of Brazil, all trade unions, all the syndicates of the far right and fascism see Venezuela as a royal crown. And behind that, the imperialism. Always, imperialism was always there, always. Always with its false diplomacy of deceit. Every time they come here with a smile, and then afterwards, behind, they bring a knife with a bump. Do you have images? The residence of Libya is a residence of university students in the square of Sabana Grande. They arrived there. I didn't know that. I haven't seen that image. Please play it. They came out to destroy it.
More images of the scenario that Venezuela is living at this moment.
Harassing students. I've received a video that is coming from it's about the burning of the basement of the Ministry of Housing. They tried in 2017 to burn a school, a kindergarten, and a few children saved themselves by miracle. They came back. They are the same. He is, she is. They are the same. They are the evil, the damage for Venezuela. So they want to govern this country that way. We have images from CNE in Anzoátegui, defended by the national police, and they were going to burn it because they wanted to destroy the evidence, the material evidence, the physical evidence, the voting machines. They are like crazy. If we hadn't acted on time, they would have burned the whole headquarters of the CNE. We kept them from doing that, but they managed to burn the basement.
The president is releasing images of the scenario that Venezuela is living for the past hours, of a group of members of the ultra far right wing in the country are taking to the streets to create violence and damage hours after the results of the elections.
And now in the theater Junín, when they just beat this person in the Plaza Oligares, the same delinquent groups, part of them already arrested, went to burn the theater, which provides services to the musicians groups, theater and other things. The theater has been recovered with the architecture of the times, of the epoch. Let's see those images.
Since last night, small sectors of the extreme fascist right wing have been trying to attack and attacking key places related to the electoral system, as well as representatives of the electoral council. These people are mostly young men under the effects of substances, and also they are armed men. They have weapons on the streets, and they are creating or trying to create an environment, an atmosphere of uncertainty, and also an atmosphere of violence. How can you tell them a position, the president asked? They are the face of fascism, the face of terrorism, and also the face of the ultra-right wing. They are not acting alone. They have the support of...
Okay, Diosdado is telling me that they're reporting that a worker of a controller building was shot by this group of motorized riders driven by the comanditos of the far right. The motorized up from the comanditos. Unfortunately, we have images of a camera that protects the controller office, and they are identified, and now we have to investigate and search and capture of these delinquents, and you can be sure, that there will not be any impunity. They want to impose a scenario Guaidó 2.0. We saw already the scenario Guaidó, and we faced it with patience, with decision, with courage, and with truth. And with the truth, we opened all the roads that brought us to a peace, a good peace, a strong peace, the recovery, the economic recovery, the recovery of the social rights. They're not going to steal that from us. I assure you, they're not going to steal that from us. Guaidó 2.0, had already been declared. A new Guaidó arrived. This time, there won't be any weakness, and it will not be impunity. This conspiracy will not enjoy impunity. He escaped, and he is now living as a multimillionaire in Miami. Here now, he won't be that way here. Guaidó 2.0, you can be sure, no, you're not gonna do it. He's against the peace of the republic and with these people. And you have to be sure that from here, my post, I will be 24 hours of the day safeguarding the peace. And I call the people to maximum mobilization, to the street offensive, peaceful, to the defense of peace on each street, to the timely denouncement of these criminals, because one by one these comanditos will go to the place they have to go, to jail. Justice, so that peace is here. Justice. While I was talking, there were people coming to Miraflores. Now I will go out to greet them, because the people, as Ali Primera said, the people is wise and is patient. The people is wise and patient. And people knows the truth. They underestimate the people. They have underestimated the people. How many times have they underestimated? The same nicknames, the same names have underestimated the people. They haven't been able with us. They haven't been able to beat us, and we tell them they will not be with us. They will not beat us. We put up this struggle, and we're going to consolidate this struggle because we're going to consolidate peace. And this was the definite battle, as I told Celso Morin. For us, the 28th of July was this decisive battle against fascism, the criminal fascism, and we're going to consolidate, comrades, dear compatriots, we're going to consolidate this victory and the right to peace and the future of our home, of our people. We're going to consolidate it with intelligence and wisdom, with the Constitution in our hands, with laws, respect to the laws, respect the institutions, with respect to the right to peace and tranquility, respect to the Constitution, respect to the community. It won't be a group of comanditos who is going to impose the people of Venezuela. They utilized the electoral campaign to just mount this strategy here and there, over there. But this people is not a coward people. We were not born the day of the coward. This looks like, comrades, when the film The Exorcist, you see that? Did you see that? I saw it once in my life. It was terrible. I didn't like it. And once I went with Celia with a mission in Washington. We were in the place where the film was shot. Remember, Celia was a street in Washington. Here, there's the house where the film was shot, and a little stair. I have the video, and we arrived at the basement, and a woman came out from the house with a long face, and she was trying to explain how the film was shot. And this is like when the priest, in the final scene of the picture, to exorcise Linda Blair, and she begins to turn her head, and she put the face as the person I told you about. And the last vengeance of the demon before being submitted to the is just to throw the priest out of the window. But it was the last thing that the demon did. They're trying to do the same thing here. But we have the spiritual power, the moral power, the willpower, the experience to handle this situation and consolidate the peace in Venezuela. Consolidate it. Tomorrow we're going to set up, install the joint meeting of the Council of State, the Council of Defense of the Nation, to plan everything concerning the big dialogue of the 5 dimensions. Praying to God and also hitting with the hammer. Always with God to reestablish peace, making justice, and punishing the violence, and with the hammer giving to work for the economy, for the work of the people, and working for the dialogue of the 5 dimensions, the economic dialogue, social, cultural, spiritual, moral, and politics. All Venezuela is invited, a dialogue, a sovereign dialogue. No elite was going to put their nose here. Nobody is going to put their noses here in this dialogue. This page has already been turned. Now, it's a dialogue between Venezuelans, men and women, to direct the economy toward moving out for the recovery of the rights, social and workers' rights, to reinforce the national identity, the cultural dialogue, for the spiritual meeting of all the regions and all the religious belief in all the country, and for the political dialogue based on the constitution of this country. The crises are good to grow. They want to create a political crisis. They haven't been able to do that, and they will not do that. But in these circumstances we're living through, will teach us. I trust, and I also have faith in you, comrades, compatriots, that you are watching me more beyond the colors, the political colors, the homeland belongs to whole Venezuela. I congratulate all the neighborhood. I congratulate the neighbors of many communities that came out to reject these people, to foil the Guarimba, to clean their communities. You have to count with my support. Neighbors, there will be justice here, and there will be peace here. I say it on behalf of the Holy Trinity, and I invoke the force, the power of God, Father, Son, and Holy. Give us force so that in Venezuela peace shines, the agreement, the dialogue. The violent fascists will not pass. They will not pass. We will come back to win. Good evening. Good night to all Venezuela. God bless you.
We were listening to President-elect Nicolas Maduro live from the Miraflores Palace in Caracas, Venezuela, hours after the release of preliminary results. During his address to the people, the president assured that the country's tranquility and peace has been under constant attack for past weeks, and especially in the past hours, in an attempt of the ultra-right wing to reach power by means of violence. During his intervention, the president highlighted that the ultra-right announced weeks ago that they would not recognize the electoral results. So this is the consequence of a premeditated plan. They pretend to prompt a new wave of Guarimbas, but the government will not allow this, nor another season of the Juan Guaidó farce. The Bolivarian revolution is the only guarantee of peace in the country, and he assured, we are millions and we are going to defend Venezuela through peace and dialogue. This is all for the moment. Stay tuned with From the South.